Music down here on Melwood Avenue. It's great to see everybody again, and thank you for tuning in. Today we're talking about why we sell Gibson guitars. American made, world played. That was drilled into my head as a kid in all of their print ads. But it goes further back with me for that, because when I was a kid, Gibson Guitars was considered to be the upper echelon of what guitar players would be playing. So this was for the premier, top-tier players all over the world. So when you would turn on like the Grammy Awards, or you would turn on any of those big broadcasts, you would see these guys. They would be dressed in a tuxedo and they would be playing a Gibson guitar. So when I was a kid and I was learning how to play, this was a guitar that you dreamed about, and maybe someday, if you stayed with it and you worked your buns off, you could get to the point where you could end up buying a Gibson guitar. So flash forward to all these years, when I was, when I think about my history with Gibson guitars, it goes back to my grandfather had one. It was an archtop that was made in the 1930s, and my grandfather played for WHAS radio. This was well before I was around or even thought of, and so I always heard that he had this Gibson guitar, but as I was a little kid, I was one of probably 8 or 9 of us, all the grandkids. He kept it up on a shelf in their closet, and he never played it. And so he played when he was younger, but later in life, it would just sit there on the shelf in the closet. So I dreamed about this guitar, and someday I would get to see this guitar. And as I got a little older, he showed me the guitar, and I now own the guitar, which is a very special blessing for me, and I love the guitar. But that's beside the point. When I was a kid, the first guy that I remember playing this guitar that blew my mind was Ace Frehley with Kiss. I remember seeing the images burned into my mind of Ace playing a Gibson Les Paul on stage with Kiss in their amazing photos that were taken at the time. And of course, then as I got into music a little bit more, it was everybody from Dwayne Allman and Dickie Betts with the Allman Brothers to Jimmy Page to Joe Perry, of course, Ace, and then later on, with the Gibson SG guitars. Actually, the SG I remember even earlier because, again, being a big Chicago fan, Terry Kath has a picture on their very first Chicago Transit Authority record where he's playing this SG. And so that's kind of cool. And the SG, Eric Clapton with Cream, and then Pete Townsend with The Who. Live at Leeds was cut on a guitar very much like this one. P90, double P90 SG Special. So these guitars for me are kind of like the soundtrack to our life. Every time you turn on the radio and you hear one of those classic tracks and you think of those players. Later on in the 80s, you had guys like Slash and, of course, the guys in Tesla and all of these great artists that have played these legendary instruments. And, of course, you still have your jazz lovers who love all the archtops from 335s and L5s and ES 175s, and the story goes on and on and on. But these are still made down in Nashville, one by one. They're quite nicely done, mahogany body, maple cap, Les Pauls. This one here is actually a historic reissue from the custom shop. This is a 68 reissue. Incredible guitar. So, if you've never had a chance to play one of these instruments, you need to come down to the shop and let us get one in your hand so you can really see what it's all about. They have their Epiphone line, which is amazingly well done guitars, and they start in that $300 to $1,000 kind of price point. The Gibson guitars are going to start anywhere from $12.99 up to just use your imagination. You can buy whatever you'd like to in their line. They're very hard to get. They usually take anywhere from 6 months to 18 months to get one, sometimes 24 months. So the guitars you would see hanging on my wall are guitars that we ordered a year ago, and you're just now starting to see them come in. And we've got all kinds of different flavors, and you need to do yourself a favor and come down and play one of these iconic instruments. Again, another brand that's timeless and classic and will never go away. The other thing about these guitars, if you buy them, they hold on their value and they go up in value and they appreciate. But why would you ever get rid of one? That's my thought. So anyway, you can always come down to the shop here at 1900 Melwood Avenue. You can call me at 897-3304. You can shop us online at momsmusic.com or maxwellshouseofmusic.com. And we would love to show you and put into your hands a Gibson iconic instrument. So thank you, and we'll see you next time.